So, video number 2. Sorry about that. Had a buddy that called me from jail. Make some friends where you go. Anyway, so where was I? So, with the mozzarella making, it's all a process. So, after you use this huge paddle and you move it around, bring in the other water, and at that point, it now forms this sort of mass, and it's like all goopy. It's not goopy at all. It's sort of like put together. And so then you put everything into the way, take your paddle out, and then the next process that you do, which what I do, is I put on gloves, both hands, and then I put on these like rubbers that go up to your arms all the way up to here, because when you're putting your hands in there and you're mixing it in together, and I get super messy. And so then what you're going to do is, from what I understand, and when I've been doing it, is you go ahead and you put your hands in and then you massage the mozzarella. And what you're doing is you're massaging the mozzarella and you're putting your hands in, and then you're not digging, but you're sort of folding from underneath, and then you're sort of like wrapping it around, wrapping around, and then you have this ball. And you squeeze and you massage and you squeeze until you get this nice, about a half a pound to a pound ball, and then it's round, and then you sort of squeeze, and it goes plop, and then you've got this nice mozzarella round, and then you take that mozzarella round and you put it over here into a bucket of, or I call it a sauna, or jacuzzi, there's a better word for it, the jacuzzi of salt water. And it's sort of this mix. And then you continue to do that. You continue to massage your mozzarella and you make it into balls, pop them off, and you put them into the salted jacuzzi. And once you're all finished, then you clean up. And the next step is that you have all your mozzarella balls or mounds to a half a pound, a quarter of a pound worth, and then you put that in another bucket, and it's got all your salted water in the jacuzzi. And then you take that and you wrap it, you put it on the plastic and you roll it up, and then you spin it, and then you tie it, and then you put it to the side, and then you go weigh it, and then you put the sticker on it, and then you put it out for people to buy. And that's the whole process. It takes about 2.5, 3 hours, and I can't eat it. I am lactose intolerant, so the cheese, I'm not going to go into details, but I can have it like this much to taste it. It's very good. You should buy it. I work at ShopRite in Yardley in Pennsylvania. Go there on, it's there almost all the time, but when I'm there and I'm doing it, it's really good and you will enjoy it. And thanks for listening to me babble. Max. Yo, bud. There he is. Wants to be part of this. Come here. Ooh. This is my Maxie. He's a good boy. Maxie's, what are you, about 5? You telling people how old you are? No. Kisses? Kisses? Mwah. Kisses. Well, he loves kisses. He's a good boy. He's so tired. He's such a funny little guy. So anyway, he's gonna lay down. So anyway, so back to the book. So this is by Joe Hill. This is one of my very favorite authors, and we're in my very bad place. I read one of his books called Fireman. You should go buy it, read it, download it, whatever. It's a really cool book. It's sort of like about the end of the world, and it's not about, it's about a guy that was a fireman, but he has this ability to make fire, and all these people have this ability to produce, our bodies are producing human combustion. Basically, it's run through your emotions, and people are exploding and dying and blowing up, and those that can control it, they control their fire. So it's really fun. It's a very big book like this one, but it's a really good read, and I liked it a lot. And I'd probably go buy it again. I'm looking outside. I'd probably go buy it again and read it again, and probably like spend more time on the book than just reading words to where I was. So I'm gonna put my head down, and we'll go ahead and just this one here by Time, a masterwork of horror. That's impressive. Some other Joe Hill books: Strange Weather, The Fireman, like I was talking about, Heart-Shaped Box, and 20th Century Ghosts. Let's see, I can't read the expert on The Fireman, but anyway. So here, let's read the expert on this. Victoria McQueen has an uncanny knack for finding things. A misplaced bracelet, a missing photograph, answers to unanswerable questions. When she rides her bicycle over the rickety old covered bridge in the woods near her house, she always emerges in the places she needs to be. Charles Talent Manx has a gift of his own. He likes to take children for rides in his 1938 Rolls-Royce Wrath for the vanity plate NOS 4A2. In the Wrath, he and his innocent guests can slip out of everyday world and onto hidden roads that lead to an astonishing playground of amusements he calls Christmas Land. The journey across the highway of Charles's twisted imagination transforms his precious passengers, leaving them as terrifying and unstoppable as their benefactor. Then comes the day when Vic goes looking for trouble and finds her way to Charlie. That was a lifetime ago. Now, the only kid ever to escape Charlie's evil is all grown up and desperate to forget. But Charlie Manx hasn't stopped thinking about Victoria McQueen. On the road again, he won't slow down until he's taken his revenge. He's after something very special, something Vic can never replace. As life and death battle of wills builds, Vic McQueen prepares to destroy Charlie once and for all, or die trying. It sounds exciting. So we're going to read that. And we'll start a little bit here, and then I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to go play my video game because I'm off for the remainder of the day. And it looks like it may rain a little bit, so I wasn't going to go to the park, but I chose not to. What game am I playing, you asked me? I have a PlayStation 4 that a friend of mine gave me because they thought I was going to be out of work, which didn't happen. I'm playing The Last of Us 2. I'm not sure if I like it, but it's a fun game. It's more like a story, and you find zombies and other crickety-looking things that are scary, and you kill them, and then you go around. And I guess her life is about revenge because her father-like figure died, and she saw it happen. So this is all about revenge and killing monsters and zombies and things. And why not? I finished Uncharted. I think that's what it was called. It's by the team. I can't think of the name of anyone who developed it. But anyway, I like that. Unwanted? No, that's a book. That's another good book. Unwanteds. The Unwanteds. Unwanteds. It's a young reader's book. Again, at the place I was at, a friend, I met a guy that had all the series. I think he had all the series except for one book. But that was another good book. Uncharted. Maybe that's the name of it. I don't know. You're gonna make me get up and look. Yeah, Uncharted 4. I played that. That was great. I like that game. Oh, I gotta find. And then I heard there's Tomb Raider. I think Tomb Raider. I like Tomb Raider. That was a lot of fun too. And so that's the type of games I like to play. I also like to play car racing games, but I don't have any car racing games because I only have 4 games. I have, which I just finished, Uncharted 4, The Last of Us 2, which I just started, Call of Duty. I think I finished that one. Yeah, I finished that one. And then, what's this one? Grand Theft Auto 5. Haven't played that one. I played a bunch of others. I'm not real good at that game, but I guess you can drive around and fuck people. But, sorry, didn't mean to say that. But anyway, I think you can go around and pick up hookers and there's like stories and stuff like that. But I haven't played that. It's got a huge map in it. Wow. Big city. But anyway, that's the type of... Oh, and I have Star Wars. Return of the Jedi. That's what I have. I've played a little bit of that, and again, I'm stupid when it comes to video games. But we'll read a little bit, and then I'm going to leave you. So we'll go from there. Here we go. It says nice, naughty. Interesting. Well, gotta go back to that again. It says nice and naughty, but that's a scary face. And that's a bloody axe. To my mom, here's a mean machine for the story queen. That's pretty cool, huh? Die Toten Ratten schnell, for the dead travel fast. Prologue. Season's Greetings, December 2008. FCI Englewood, Colorado. Nurse Thornton dropped into the long-term care ward a little before 8 with a hot bag of blood for Charlie Manx. She was coasting on autopilot, her thoughts not on her work. She had finally made up her mind to buy her son Joza the Nintendo DS he wanted, and was calculating whether she could get to Toys R Us after her shift before they closed. She had been resisting the impulse for a few weeks on philosophical grounds. She didn't really care if all his friends had one. She just didn't like the idea of those handheld video game systems that the kids carried with them everywhere. Ellen Thornton resented the way little boys disappeared into the glowing screen, ditching the real world for some province of the imagination where fun replaced thought, and inventing creative new kills with an art form. She had fantasized having a child who would love books and play Scrabble, and want to go on snowshoeing expeditions with her. What a laugh. Ellen had held out as long as she could, and then, yesterday afternoon, she had come across Joza sitting on his bed pretending an old wallet was a Nintendo DS. He had cut out a picture of Donkey Kong and slipped it into the clear plastic sleeve for displaying photographs. He pressed imaginary buttons and made explosion sounds, and her heart had hurt a little, watching him make believe he already had something he was certain he would get on the big day. Ellen could have her theories about what was unhealthy or healthy for boys and what wasn't. That didn't mean Santa had to share them. Because she was preoccupied, she didn't notice what was different about Charlie Manx until she was easing around his cot to reach the IV rack. He happened to sigh heavily just then, as if bored, and she looked down and saw him staring up at her. And she was so startled to see him with his eyes open that she bobbled the sack of blood and almost dumped it on her feet. He was hideous old, not to mention hideous. His great bald skull was a globe mapping an alien moon, continents marked by liver spots and bruise-colored sarcomas. Of all the men in the long-term care ward, a.k.a. the vegetable patch, there was something particularly awful about Charlie Manx. With his eyes open at this time of year, Manx liked children. He'd made dozens of them disappear back in the 90s. He had a house below the Flatirons where he did what he liked with them and killed them and hung Christmas ornaments in their memory. The papers called the place the Sleigh House. Ho, ho, ho. For the most part, Ellen could shut off the mother side of her brain while she was at work, could keep her mind away from the thoughts of Charlie Manx, what Charlie Manx had probably done with the little girls and boys who had crossed his path. Little girls and boys no older than her Josiah. Ellen didn't muse on what any of her charges had done, if she could help it. The patient on the other side of the room had tied up his girlfriend and her 2 children, set fire to the house, and left them to burn. He was arrested in a bar down the street, drinking Bushmills and watching the White Sox play the Rangers. Ellen didn't see how dwelling on it was ever going to do her any favors, and so she had taught herself to think of her patients as extensions of the machines and drip bags they were hooked up to. Meat peripherals. And all the time she'd been working at the FCI Englewood in the Supermax Prison infirmary, She had never seen Charlie Manx open his eyes open. She'd been on staff for 3 years, and he had been comatose all that time. He was the frailest of her patients, a fragile coat of skin with bones inside. His heart monitor blipped like a metronome set to the slowest possible speed. The doc said he had as much brain activity as a can of cream corn. No one had ever determined his age, but he looked older than Keith Richards. He even looked a little like Keith Richards. A bald Keith with a mouthful of sharp little brown teeth. There were 3 other coma patients in the ward, what the staff called gorks. When you were around them long enough, you learned all the gorks had their quirks. Don Henry, the man who burned his little girl and her kids to death, went for walks sometimes. He didn't get up, of course, but his feet paddled weakly under the sheets. There was a guy named Leonard Potts who'd been in a coma for 5 years and was never going to wake up. Another prisoner had jammed a screwdriver through his skull and into his brain, but sometimes he cleared his throat and would shout, "I know!" as if he were a small child who wanted to answer the teacher's questions. Maybe opening his eyes was Manx's quirk, and she just never caught him doing it before. There's a cat on the floor, and we're wondering what he's doing. He's never in my room. His name is Addison, and he's orange. And I have the door open here, and this is the very first time that I think that he's realized he can breathe fresh air. It's pretty cool. I'm going to stop right there, and I'll come back to this at another time. And I hope you go buy this book. I'm just starting it. So you have a good day.